Hey, what's going on? Ryan here with Intersection Records. And today we are doing a flashback of concerts that I saw 20 years ago. So we're focusing on 2003. Every quarter I'm going to kind of do a show flashing back to so last quarter I did my favorite concerts that I attended of 1993. Now we're on to 2003. Subscribe to my channel. We do shows every single day. I know these type of videos don't really get watched very often. By the way, this is my G&L Fallout tribute. So it's kind of like a Mustang, like a little Fender Mustang, but it's by G&L, which stands for George and Leo. George Fullerton and Leo Fender. It's got a little P90 here, and it's got a splittable humbucker there. Anyway, 2003, great year for concerts. Let's start with in January of 03. I flew out to Denver and I saw the Derek Trucks Band at the Gothic Theater. Awesome show. I had seen them a couple times before that, I think starting in 99 or 2000. The only reason I saw them there was because the next night on February 1st was the Rolling Stones at the Pepsi Center in Denver. I bought awesome seats. I did a loan for a guy. I'm in the mortgage business, and I told him that I would buy tickets to the concert for us for letting me do his loan. So we had great seats. Jagger was in our face, basically shaming us for not partying as hard as he was. We were partying that night pretty hard, I will say, but Jagger had a step on us, and it was great. Johnny Lang came out and jammed with him. It was pretty cool. Johnny Lang also opened up March 14th, my first time seeing Wynton Marsalis at the Sheldon Theater in St. Louis. I think he was playing with like the Lincoln jazz band from the Lincoln Center. Great little jazz show. String Cheese Incident down in Carbondale, Illinois. Drove down there with a buddy. I think drove back. I mean, we definitely had some fun that night. There's no easy way to get to Carbondale from St. Louis, but String Cheese Incident's one of my favorite jam bands, and they still are. Dwight Yoakam on May 9th. Went with my buddy Van. Went down to Mississippi Nights, which is now closed and torn down. Mississippi Nights, a famous music hall on the St. Louis landing, if you will, the river. Dwight Yoakam, just amazing. All those guitars and Cadillacs, just amazing music. The Eagles on June 6th of 03 went with a girl. Actually, I took a buddy's girlfriend to the show, and she was awfully cute. More than cute. We had fun. Don Felder had been kicked out of the band, so this was my first time seeing them with Stuart Smith on guitar instead of Don Felder. So it was just Glenn Frey, Don Henley, Timothy B. Schmidt, and Joe Walsh, of course, with Stuart Smith filling in. It was a great show. Good times. The 2nd of July, I saw The Dead, featuring the lineup of Phil Lesh, Bob Weir, Bill Kreutzmann, Mickey Hart, Jimmy Herring on guitar, Joan Osborne on backing vocals, Rob Baracco on keyboards, along with Jeff Chimenti on keyboards. Willie Nelson opened up. Awesome night of music. This was not, I think the next year they went on tour with Warren Haynes and Jimmy Herring. Of course, Jimmy Herring had played in the quintet with Phil Lesh and Friends, which I love so much. Moving on, that next month, I saw Dickie Betts with Great Southern at Mississippi Nights as well. That was on August 7th of 2003. I want to say that he played Bougainvillea that night. I tried to do some research on that. I saw him there a few times with the Great Southern. Dan Toller on guitar as well. Awesome shows. I mean, Dickie Betts is my favorite thing about the Allman Brothers. I never got to see Duane Allman, obviously, but I saw Warren Haynes and Dickie Betts many times together. I saw Dickie Betts with Derek Trucks a few times in that incarnation. When they kicked Dickie out, I really just had a hard time with that. Moving on, Neil Young and Crazy Horse at Riverport. Anytime you get to see Neil Young, it's special. And I guess this was probably the Greendale tour. I meant to research that. Not my favorite tour. I think most Neil Young fans would suggest that doing a rock opera about some, town didn't really hit off that well. But anytime you get to see Neil Young, he absolutely did some classics at the end, and that was the highlight of the night. Harry Connick Jr. at a small jazz club in St. Louis called Jazz at the Bistro. That was 4 days after Neil Young on August 13th. So I want to say this concert was announced the day of or the day before, and it's a club that I have been going to. In fact, I was a season ticket member. I was huge into jazz and still am at that time. And it sold out immediately, packed to the rafters. Obviously, Harry Connick is a singer, primarily known for, but this night was just about jazz piano. I think he had a trio with him, and I think he finally sang a song. He did. He sang one song at the end, which people were waiting for because that's what they want to hear from him. But his piano playing was cool. It was cool to see him in person and live and up close. YOLO Tango at the Pageant, September 25th, in 2003. Cool night of music. I reviewed their album already this year. Very different group. YOLO Tango for the first and only time. Carl Denson's Tiny Universe back at Mississippi Nights on October 3rd or October 2nd. Anytime you get a chance to see Carl Denson, go do it. He's in the band Slightly Stoopid. He's in the Grey Boy All-Stars. He is the saxophone player for the Rolling Stones. After Bobby Keys passed away, he's a great singer. He's an incredible entertainer. I mean, he's one of the best singer-entertainers there is, saxophone, flute player. Check out Carl Denson's Tiny Universe. Derek Trucks Band, again, in Chattanooga, October 18th of 2003. I went to some sort of birthday party with a girlfriend, and I had a night off, and I think I took a cab, or maybe I borrowed their car, went by myself to this club and saw Derek Trucks with his band, and it was fantastic. And lastly, on the 29th of October, Government Mule at Mississippi Nights. Chris Robinson's band opened up. Paul Stacey was on guitar with Chris Robinson, and they both came out. Robinson came out, played harmonica with Government Mule. It was an amazing night, like most nights at Mississippi Nights were back in the day, back before they tore that down. The Pageant in St. Louis, which a lot of you probably have heard of, kind of replaced that size crowd venue. For a couple years, both venues existed. Now it's just the Pageant. But subscribe to my channel. We do shows every single day. Peace out. Those are my shows, my favorite shows that I saw in the year 2003. And this is my G&L. We'll see ya.